Welcome to the Joint Force Headquarters for our annual retiree homecoming. We're honored by your presence and will be glad to assist you in any way possible throughout your visit today. Before we begin our program, I have a few short administrative comments. There are a few short presentations we'll give you as part of today's event, but aside from those, you are free to visit all of the tables in the atrium, go to our help desk, and visit the offices here at the headquarters. Every table and representative that we have with us today is important, and we would like for you to visit all of them and ask questions. The ID card facility will also be available on the first floor for your convenience throughout the duration of today's events. And for those of you who don't know what's at, when you come through the main front door, it's immediately to your left. So as you look back out the front door, it's on your right. Our buffet lunch will be available shortly after the conclusion of today's presentation. Please show your tickets to the personnel at the head of the serving line. Restrooms are located by the elevators. Please take note of the emergency exits, and in case of an actual emergency, we ask you to follow the prompts from the public address system. We are also pleased to have an emergency medical technician with us today on site in case there is a need for that service. At this time, Chaplain Morrison will give the invocation.
Would you bow with me, please? Lord, we invite your presence to bless this gathering of those here assembled, retired from the service of state and country. And also as we celebrate this 379th birthday of our organization. Thank you for your presence of spirit that inspired and supported these assembled in their accomplishment of duty. Their efforts have protected, supported, and defended our nation and state in times of peace and war, feast and famine, sunshine and storm. For all you have given us through their service and sacrifice, we thank you. And bless each one here for their devotion to duty, honor, and country. Amen.
At this time, please rise as the 440th Army Band sings our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege for me to stand here today before such a large crowd of retired North Carolina Air and Army National Guard service members. At this time, I would like to recognize a very special guest with us here today. She is Miss Alice McCall, Congressman George Holding's District Director. Congressman Holding is the representative for North Carolina's 13th Congressional District. We are very happy to have you with us here today. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Major General Greg Lusk, who will officially open today's event.
infuse a simple mind, which I admit to having. It is indeed an honor. Welcome, everybody. What an absolute great turnout. And, you know, especially as we commemorate our 379th birthday of the National Guard on Sunday, it's just fitting that this historical and traditional community-based force, as represented by all of you who have traveled from the corners of our state to be here, just to once again underscore and provide the evidence that indeed we are a community-based force. And you know, and it's that community-based force and all the advocacy and all of the efforts that we need. We're going to be calling upon you again for service. But before I do that, I'm going to give you some credibility, perhaps some justification as to why we're asking for that here in just a few moments. But I'm just briefly going to go over a few things, and I'll get to this NC Connect bond here in a minute, and that's really the real crux of it. I'll tell you, we've had a historic year, 2015. We've had some of our highest number of unit deployments that we've had now in quite some time, and it seems like it's becoming a repetitive, cyclical manner. But even though the unit's size, as far as number of men and women going, have been considerably smaller, again, the number of units that have deployed were pretty high this year. You know, during the height of the summer, we had 1,500 folks that were deployed everywhere from, of course, the front in Afghanistan to various places in Europe. Of course, some of them getting reinserted back into the Kuwait and the vicinity of Iraq and all the interests in the Middle East and the chaos. Africa, that we still have people at today. Tremendous. Had the opportunity to travel this summer and visit quite a few of our locations. The diversity of the missions is probably what's quite unique. So on this couple weeks worth of travel, not only did we go over and watch a state partnership program engagement and annual training, you know, the 2-week summer camps that some of you recall, where we're over doing live mortar fires with the Moldovan Army, one of our long-standing state partnership program. See, just a tremendous activity to actually see some live rounds go out the tubes of these mortars with the Moldovan Army, perhaps the furthest east that anybody from the North Carolina National Guard has ever fired a round, and perhaps some of the first rounds since World War II in Europe. I don't know. I got to really check that out, because I know a lot of folks have gone back and forth to Italy a bunch of times, and I suspect that we did some live fires then too. But definitely, I think the farthest east for sure. So from there, we swung through and visited with our soldiers that are over in Kosovo, you know, part of that force, and what a tremendous job they're doing with KFOR. You know, they're probably about a little over halfway through with their deployment, so they'll be coming home soon. But I tell you, they're quite the standard bearers for any of the KFOR forces that have ever rotated through there. Just continue to receive accolades and praise for everything that they're doing. Great job. From there over to Jordan, where we had folks deployed this summer. And again, an entire battalion, the 1st of the 120th, over there doing some tremendous work with the Jordanian armed forces, and particularly with the Jordanian border guards. And you can only imagine with the Syrian refugee issue just how important of a mission that was that they did. And again, the standard bearers, the standard setters, every one of them. Then, I'm sad to admit, back down to Camp Buehring, Kuwait. By golly, I'd never left anything there, and if it wasn't for our soldiers, there's no way in the world I would have ever gone back there. But to see our soldiers, it was worth the trip. Everything from a transportation company that we have, the 1450th, that's doing tremendous work, and again, part of this whole thing of helping resupply the Iraqi army in their fight against the ISIS in Al-Anbar province and other places, as well as just recently had the chance to visit our 30th Military Engagement Team, who is engaged throughout the whole Central Command area of responsibility, and really what a diverse mission set they have. Everything you read about in the newspaper, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, this unit, only about 24 strong, they're engaged in every single one of these countries and becoming quite versed in what they have to go through as far as State Department protocols to get in and out of these countries. But what a tremendous impact this small North Carolina team is doing over there. Okay. Then, of course, we followed up and had a chance to go down to Bahrain, where we have another security force mission going on, and a Bahrainian Royal Air Force Base. A little part of that Air Force Base is carved out where the military is positioned there. But again, right there on the coast of the Persian Gulf, in a strategically important part of the world. And they're out there once again on the front line doing that. We have perhaps the height of our North Carolina Air National Guard deployments that are going on right now. Over 70 some of them are deployed in the United Arab Emirates and doing all types of great work right there at the air base, and once again representing us all so professionally and proficiently in everything that they do. And that's just really the tip of the iceberg, because you know we're a dual mission force. So everything I talked about was our federal aspect. And then we start thinking about our state active duties that we've had over the last year, not to mention last year's snowstorms, plural, and whether we'll have some more this year. I guess the Farmer's Almanac predicts that we will, so we may be busy yet again. And not to mention the 500 some odd folks that we sent from our engineering brigade and also parts of our Air Guard down to South Carolina to help with those tremendous flood relief and recovery operations that came on the heels of Hurricane Joaquin and all that great torrential rainstorm. And I can tell you that our folks that went down there were pressed into service immediately. As soon as they walked in and swiped their ID cards reporting for duty, they were sent straight to the mission area. And if it wasn't for those 20-ton dump trucks going straight to the quarry and picking up their rocks and going literally to an overpass and dropping it over the edge of the overpass into the river to shore up a breach in a dam, you know, Columbia would still be probably recovering from that today. But they saved the city's water supply, being right there at the right place at the right time, you know, with the right stuff. So they did a great job. And, you know, and these types of things continue to happen all across the North Carolina National Guard every single day in so many ways that's hard to really go through. And I would love to talk to you more about it, but I don't want to get into so much detail that this all of a sudden becomes a challenge, I guess, to sit through. All right, so we'll stay brief. But everyone in here, it's on your shoulders that all these are capable. It's this organization that you invested in that set us up for this success. Instilled with us perhaps the culture that is embodied in every single North Carolina National Guardsman and their families today to do not only what is called upon, but to do it even better, to achieve excellence in everything that they do. And they do it. They represent us well. You have a lot to be proud of. And as you talk to these airmen and these soldiers out here in the lobby today, you'll see your legacy. It comes through in every one of them, what they've experienced and what they do every single day. So we thank you and we welcome you back. We are so glad that you're here. So thank you. All right, so now that I've given you all this business case and this justification as to why we need your advocacy, okay? So, you know, we've had some challenges as of late, and last year was of course, a challenging thing, particularly on the Army side, when we had a little family feud between the active component Army and the Army National Guard. I think a lot of those wounds are really starting to heal. I think the National Commission on the Future of the Army has really done a very just job of including every component of the Army as far as going out and seeking their input. And I think that's going in. They're in the process right now of writing their report, and that's due out to Congress in February. But at least all indications are that we were included in it, and I think that they really took some great measure to hear from us as to what we have. And once again, not only the talk, but the ability to walk the talk that our soldiers have done in the Army really resonated well with the Commission, not only inside of North Carolina, but everywhere else across the country, wherever they visited. Okay. So with that in mind, of course, now we have a new Chief of Staff of the Army, General Milley, and he has said at National Guard Association this summer, as well, actually just a couple months ago, as well as in other venues, you know, that there's only one Army, and that Army is 985,000 strong and consists of 18 divisions and however many brigades. So he's very inclusive, and he's putting out word, and I can tell you I've been to follow-on meetings where indeed we're talking about total Army force policy and concepts, bringing the family back together, because let's face it, with Russian aggression, with Syrian refugee crises, and all the other challenges and insecurities in the Middle East, our nation requires us, and our Army definitely has to rely upon the Army National Guard. So being part of that, I think, is where we're going to go forward. So I think that's a good news story. Okay, but you know, this last few decades or so of decade and a half since 9/11. You know, we've expended an awful lot of our national treasure as far as fighting the wars all around the globe, and that has now put us into this, what we see as this very cyclical financial challenge that's going on, and that will always be a challenge for us going forward, for at least for the foreseeable future. So we need your advocacy to help remind folks of what the great value they get in the Guard. You know, that dual mission capability, the fact that we serve our communities in our state as well as our nation, what a bang for the buck. And the fact that such a large part of our force are indeed part-time, you know, what a cheap insurance policy that is in the big scheme of things. But inside of North Carolina, we've had some tremendous effect, and of course, we had some great results, and we have our North Carolina representative, Mr. Gary Pendleton, who's with us today, who's been absolutely instrumental in leading, I think you said 22 members of our General Assembly inside of North Carolina that have ever had any experience with the military, you know, leading the rest of the group. And I would say not dragging, but showing them the light, and they've actually all responded and demonstrated their support for us in so many ways, from credentialing and educational expedition to such as taking military or security forces training that they receive in the military and applying it towards basic law enforcement so that we can accelerate that program. And so many other of our MOSs or AFSCs for our Air Guard folks in the room, you know, those specialties so that they could apply those towards civilian skill sets, help them become more competitive in the workplace. That increased tuition assistance throughout our state. And again, so many more tremendously effective and positive support from the North Carolina General Assembly this year. This one right here is perhaps one of the largest and perhaps a game-changing event for us. Okay, and it's quite simply this: we have 91 armories across our state right now, and every one of them are based upon 1950s demographics. You know, back in the days before we had an interstate system transiting our state of North Carolina, and of course we were very much tied to our home base and our hometown roots, where the units were comprised primarily of the residents of that town or local community. And while that still holds true in many cases, we have become a more transient organization. You know, now with the interstates in place, a lot of our folks are now moving to those interstate corridors or close proximity thereof, because quite frankly, that's where the industry is, that's where the jobs are, it's where the educational opportunities are. You know, and projections going forward showing that we're going to have this continued migration of the population, you know, to within about 30 miles either side of that interstate corridor that goes through the middle of our state. That's where the future of the North Carolina National Guard is going to come from. So we need to address that. We need to address it long term. We need to address it strategically. For that purpose primarily, but there's so many other things. Our armories and our facilities in the Army National Guard, of course, are, as I said, are old. Some of them are very analog systems, whether it be from heating and ventilation to 3 gallon per minute flushes in the toilets, you know, as opposed to the modern day more, you know, environmentally friendly things. We have those challenges every single day, and those replacement parts or replacement items become more expensive. Not to mention the fact that most of the garage doors that we have on some of our field maintenance sites, you know, don't open up large enough to allow the vehicles that we now possess to get inside. So we've got to do some upgrade. All right. So we've been kind of pressing this story for quite a while, and the Governor McCrory as well as the North Carolina General Assembly kind of wrapped their arms around this, and they committed to do something. And as what they committed to do was to put this out into a bond, you know, Connect North Carolina bond. And we have Brigadier General retired Dave Jeanette has a booth out front that would be happy to talk about any of the details concerning the bond at large. I'm going to focus mine on just what it means to us. So it's about a $2 billion bond, the referendum that the North Carolina voting populace is going to have a chance to say yay or nay on during the primaries in March 15. Okay? And out of that $2 billion total bond that has very many aspects across the state, 70 million of it is dedicated towards 3 regional readiness centers for the North Carolina National Guard. And these are the 3. So, and again, we've been working this for quite a while. We've had a preliminary engineering report that's been going on, a lot of activity to identify sites across the state that we might first drive our anchors into the ground and invest for some long-term facilities. And in McLeansville, of course, you know, almost a 100-acre piece of land that the state owned is just an absolute great spot in the triad. It makes all the sense in the world that we would do that. So with that land now being offered to us this became a very obvious first pick for us to build what we call a regional readiness center. Okay. And these regional readiness centers, what we kind of see, there's going to be a consolidation of some units perhaps into that, but it's primarily right now to address what we have almost, about a 50% deficit in square footage that we need, for our offices, for our training facilities, for our storage of equipment and all that type of thing. And you can see that one is about a $40 million project. And I'm going to show you in just a few moments a real brief artist rendering of that. Okay, then over in, once again, we found another one over in Burke County, 16-story high-rise. It's owned by North Carolina Department of Public Safety right now that they're willing to transfer over to us. But it obviously requires an awful lot of investment to get its facilities upgraded, everything from the electrical to plumbing and all those types of things. And we see both of these as being an anchor point, very similar to this headquarters right here. And General Ingram, I got to give credit where credit is due as far as having the foresight of bringing in the multiple agencies inside of this building is a tremendous win. We have the North Carolina National Guard, we got the emergency management, we have the communications troop for the highway patrol downstairs, as well as the Department of Transportation and all their highway cameras that allows us to basically see all across this state, quite an impressive array. But that just really helps us coordinate our responses during times of domestic need, hurricane, those things that we know that are coming, as well as those things that we don't have that type of a notice. Tornadoes such as we've had not too terribly long ago. And I think we even had an earthquake about the same time, didn't we? Something like that. So go figure. But these will be the anchor point. It's kind of a campus concept where we can bring in some of these other agencies and they can share overhead with us, make it easier on everybody, but at the same time, more importantly perhaps, but to increase that effectiveness and that coordination and collaboration between the various agencies that are citizens and us that we all rely upon when the time comes. And then out in the Wilkes County, we were also looking at another, it's kind of a mini version of this, a new facility. So this is a great start towards what we need to do. And along this now, and coupled with our General Assembly's commitment to continue to provide money for upgrading all of our armories, we're definitely on the right track. And I mean, what a tremendous turnaround we've had in these last couple of years as far as addressing the needs of our facilities. Go ahead and hit that one. So once again, this is kind of the one-stop picture that kind of encompasses what I just talked about. Back up just a moment to that map where it went. Okay, so there it is, conceptual drawing. Okay, so we're looking at, again, these 91 facilities. How do we come into a more regional readiness center construct? That's what those big arcs are. That's where we're hiring where we've had our professionals go out and look at. Anything within that radius is where we're looking at for the prime locations for where we may invest for long-term good, new brick and mortar construction. And then being able to tie this into a construct once again so that we have a hub and spoke concept. And that's kind of the concept that we're looking. So don't get so fixated on where those stars are. Okay, the stars are the center of mass. It's inside that arc that we're looking at. And of course our challenge is to, one, perhaps someday we reduce the total number of facilities. But we got to balance that with the need that we also have to increase the number of the square footage and the acreage that we have ability, as well as we have to maintain our commitment to our community base and our grassroots foundation of the National Guard. Okay, so we had some more, and you can flip to the next one there, and you can see, okay, I've lost track of these things. We had a big report that added, again, more credibility to it, and this was all funded by National Guard Bureau, where they went back and surveyed each one of our readiness centers, and this added more credibility as perhaps the business case as to why we needed to do this. It's our azimuth check. So you can see our facilities, their ratings that they had out of the 90-some that we had at the time. Okay, not all dismal, but at the same time, you can tell if we don't address this, it's just not going to be like wine. It's not going to get better with time. All right, it's going to continue to degrade. All right, so here's kind of the picture. Hit that artist rendering, if you would. There you go. So that's kind of it. So the architects, the AE firm that's been working on this for a while has come up with a concept sketch, a diagram, and I'll show you that next. Not yet, but But inside there, we not only have the ability to bring in other units, but you'll see that there's space carved out and set aside for bringing in our other agencies onto this same campus. So a very innovative and futuristic way, thanks to the example that's been set right here at this headquarters. And then, so just to add more proof to it, if you hit the next picture, so you can see all the gray blocks particularly is what I'll highlight, that once again underscores what I just said. Those are future growth potentials that we've identified. Okay. Now, perhaps one of the more unique aspects of it is that these are all kind of based upon a standard 600-person, 600-soldier facility. If we find ourselves doubling that, then it's just quite simply adding a mirror version that to the other side. So we got the ability on this acreage now to increase more. But you got to have your vote on this when it comes to the Connect NC, as well as not only yours, but everybody else that's in your family and everybody else that you have in contact. If you would just help us spread the word as to why it's so very important to the North Carolina National Guard that this bond referendum pass. It's very, very important to the future of the North Carolina National Guard. I look forward to discussing this with anybody and everybody when we break out of here, and I know I've taken way more time than they probably allotted me, but once again, what an honor it is just to stand here and see you and welcome you once again, give you this little brief overview, and I know there's some more overviews coming, but today's about reunion and reconnecting, and I hope you have a great time, and I look forward to talking to all of you, perhaps once we break out of here. So thanks for being here, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to everybody, all right? Thanks.
It is now time in our program to provide you with an update on what the North Carolina National Guard is currently doing in and around our state, as well as nationally and overseas. We are proud to have this opportunity and forum in which to connect and communicate with you in order to keep you informed about our current activities and upcoming events involving our force. At this time, our State J3 Operations Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Tim Aiken, will present to you our current operations briefing.
Thank you, Colonel Williford. Again, welcome to everyone this morning. Like he said, I'm going to give us a brief overview. I wished I had more time because to tell you all the great things that we're doing, CONUS and OCONUS, it would take a while. But for brevity's sake, I'm going to kind of make it brief and kind of put some meat on the bones of what General Lusk was alluding to when he first opened up his comments a while ago. So, but I've got pictures, sir. So. Also, right outside the door here to the right, we have what we call one of our cool signs. It's a big screen TV. It's going to be running all morning, and it's got briefings on there from each of the MSC commanders talking about their units, what they've done this year, their capabilities. So if you have a few minutes once you're wandering around out there to stand in front of that and watch that, it's really good. So take advantage of that if you would, please. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, this is the North Carolina National Guard Strategic Direction 2015 to 19, which includes our vision, mission, core competencies, and goals. The vision for the future of the North Carolina National Guard is the most ready, reliable, responsive, and relevant military force for North Carolina and the nation. The National Guard is the best value for domestic operations at home and our nation's defense overseas. The end state is to posture the North Carolina National Guard to provide individuals, units, and force packages to both state and federal authorities while garnering support of employers and communities for continued service. Slide. This slide was not shown last year, and it was actually not in the briefing to start with, but this is a snapshot of our daily ops summary. What's impressive about this is, go back please. What's impressive about this is these are all North Carolina National Guard units, OCONUS. Just take a minute to absorb that in the different locations like General Lusk was talking about, projecting our forces forward. Even though a lot of the OEF, Iraqi Freedom, and all of those mobilizations are tailing off, we are still actively engaged overseas, doing peacekeeping missions, and various other engagements as well. So I wanted to throw that up there for a second and let everybody see. This was as of yesterday, where all our units were arrayed OCONUS. Slide. Okay, our current chain of command, you see not a lot has changed since last year. We still have our 7 MSCs with each of the assistant adjutant generals over those. Right now we have a total authorized Army National Guard force structure of 10,191, Air Guard 1,495 for a total authorized of 11,686 for the state of North Carolina. So we're holding steady in our end strength. Slide. Okay, I'm going to go through the MSCs now and what they've done over the course of this year and what they're currently engaged with. The 30th Armored Brigade combat team currently has 500 soldiers deployed to both Kosovo and the CENTCOM area of operations. They're engaged in peacekeeping and security cooperation missions to advance U.S. national security interests in those areas. Here at home, the 30th ABCT has supported numerous state active duty missions as well as several state partnership program missions, and the 30th is truly globally deployed. We're also involved with Hurricane Joaquin just recently, supporting down east with several force packages there as well. Slide. Our 449th Theater Aviation Brigade, which consists of attack, assault, security, and operational support aviation assets. Both Blackhawks and Lakotas are part of the North Carolina National Guard Helo Aquatic Rescue Team. These guys do a lot of work on almost on a monthly, sometimes weekly basis, rescuing folks in various predicaments that they get themselves into, a lot out in the mountains, hikers and stuff. So they stay busy with that in conjunction with our emergency management. Det 1 Bravo 638 soldiers just recently returned from Kuwait, but they still continue missions overseas as they've just pushed out. Their Det 17 C-26 has recently deployed as well. Slide. 113th Sustainment Brigade is comprised of over 1,600 soldiers across the state of North Carolina. To date, this major subordinate command has been a constant contributor to mobilizing units in support of both Iraqi and enduring freedom. The 113th provides personnel, transportation, and equipment support, and currently the 1450th, which General Lusk mentioned that he visited the other day, a few weeks ago, is mobilized in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. And there's a picture up there, I believe, with him with the troops up there with a Christmas tree. So they're celebrating a little early over there. Okay. Slide, please. The 130th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade contains the bulk of our engineer and MP assets within the state. And as General Lusk mentioned, they just recently supported South Carolina in the floods. I'll go over a little bit of the details of that. Operation Palmetto Support was the name of it. They supported 6 counties headquartered out of Camp McCready, which is South Carolina's training base. They mobilized 477 soldiers to McCready in order to provide assistance for flood damage. The unit mobilized within 72 hours. That's a lot of folks to get going in 72 hours, I assure you. They conducted 59 projects. Other projects included engineer assessments, road repair, and as General Lusk mentioned, the canal repair. They literally, like he said, rolled into Camp McCready that evening, went through joint receiving, staging, and onward integration, got in their dump trucks and went down and started filling in the hole in that canal. The repairs that they've made helped to immediately restore freedom of movement to the citizens, mainly in rural areas in South Carolina, with the road repairs. And pictured up there is a South Carolina Adjutant General visiting the soldiers during their November IDT to show his appreciation and award the South Carolina Achievement Medal to the soldiers who served during this mission. There is Major Poovey, the battalion commander, up there on the left, and in their formation there. They did an outstanding job there. It was mainly a 505th effort, but the 130th headquarters was there controlling the mission on the ground at Camp McCready as well. Slide. Our 145th Air Wing, of course, is headquartered at Charlotte Douglas International Airport with, like I said, approximately a strength of 1,500, which is also includes the airmen that are in Stanley County at the Baden Air Base, or excuse me, the base there. The 145th conducted airlift of personnel and cargo, aerial medical patient evacuation, and modular aerial firefighting system missions this year. In addition to that, what's pictured up here are the highlights of Operation Pacific Angel. It was a successful multilateral force mission. Air crews from the North Carolina Air National Guard successfully completed 22 sorties, airdropping over 800 pounds of food, mainly rice and other goods, and delivering over 800 pounds of medical supplies to several Southeast Asian countries, mainly in East Timor. The aircrew also transported 150 U.S. and multinational forces assisting in the exercise. So a very successful exercise in Southeast Asia for the 145th this year. Slide. Our 60th Troop Command consists of approximately 1,200 soldiers, and they have the enduring mission of the Joint Task Force Headquarters mission for the domestic operations. So they can actually stand up a joint task force anywhere in the state or outside the state to mission command a domestic operation. They also have the ability to provide special forces. They have special forces under their command, civil support, field artillery, recruiting and retention, medical, public affairs, military history, and the military band. Pictured here is Bravo 320, the 440th Band, the Med Detachment, and they're displaying diverse mission set that this MSC has within its command. They are also greatly involved with the initiatives in Tanzania and Africa as we begin engagements there. Part of the SPP, or hopefully going to be part of the SPP one of these days, with a new partner. Slide, please. The 139th Regiment, or RTI, consists of the Regimental Training Institute and the Regional Training Site Maintenance stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Both units provide programs and institutional training for career management fields. The Regional Training Institute continues to teach field artillery enlisted 13 series at the 10, 30, and 40 level, the 68 Whiskey Combat Medic, Combat Lifesaver, and Emergency Medical Technician recertification. They also have our current OCS class, still doing OCS there for the RTI. Our current class has 20 candidates preparing for their intermediate phase and will commission in August. Slide, please. 42nd Civil Support Team, relatively new unit. They are a weapons of mass destruction support unit. They stay busy year-round. They are totally an AGR, all total AGR member force. They are consistently and constantly doing lanes training exercises. What's pictured here is one that they just recently completed, which was a partnership with a Title 10 unit, an Army Reserve unit, the 824th Transportation Company down in Morehead City, where they loaded their equipment onto their LCU 2000 and put it out on the sound to prove that they could move their equipment on a boat, maritime support, and I also did went on the boat and detected some things there that the Northcom had set up for them. So it was a really successful mission, and they've got another one coming up in February. So those guys stay busy, not only in their exercise, but also supporting things such as recently as last Saturday, the ACC Championship. So they stay busy. Good unit. Slide, please. So give you a little update on our domestic operations for this year. Like General Lusk mentioned, we had 2 winter storms. a hurricane support to the floods in South Carolina, among other things that we support the state with in partnerships. We conducted Operation Vigilant Guard in conjunction with South Carolina, which was a huge exercise for not only South Carolina but us too. We had 17 venues involved with that, with our emergency management partners in each one of the counties, not each county in the state, but a lot of the bigger counties in the state. My Provost Marshal's office is constantly reaching out to local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and state law enforcement in partnerships as well. And our co-op section within the J3 has an education program right now that they're starting up, a new initiative to where Guardsmen can actually get an associate's degree in emergency management for free. So that was something that's really been a good accomplishment this year as well within the J3 section. Also, Counter Drug Task Force falls under the J3. They've done an outstanding job this year. As you can see there, support local law enforcement and other agencies in over 132 missions, resulting in 447 arrests and 28 million in drugs and property seized. So they do that on a daily basis in partnership with our local and state law enforcement as well. Slide, please. Here's the total mobilization numbers since 9/11. Quite impressive. And as, like General Lusk said, maybe the size and the unit mobilizations may have slowed down, but we're still engaged, still projecting out OCONUS with these peacekeeping missions and different engagements through our SPP programs as well. Slide, please. Excuse me, current mobilizations are units that are either mobilized, some of them are close to coming back to redeploy, but this is a list of those and their locations at the current time. Slide, please. This is some we have coming up. Most recently, the 105th Mp Battalion just has conducted their farewell ceremony. They're going to be heading to Guantanamo Bay. Probably see some folks there that maybe some of those MPs saw several years ago that are still there. I'd like to go down there and visit some of them. Also, you see there the notice of sourcing for several units that we've got coming up, and then the FY17 Army Contingency Force Enablers deploying. It says to any AOR as needed. So we've got the 1452nd and the 694th and the 883rd in that category. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm sorry that, like I said, that was as brief as it was. If anyone has any questions about anything, wants to talk to me afterwards, I'll be glad to give you some more details on what our units are doing, both in CONUS and OCONUS. But believe me when I say that we are totally engaged in both areas and moving forward. Your National Guard is engaged in many, many, many different things. So having said that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Now I'd like to welcome the Executive Director for the North Carolina National Guard Association, Craig Lloyd, to talk about any new initiatives or legislation that the association is involved in that may be of benefit to you.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Good, good, good. Thank you very much. I'll be as quick as I can because I know I'm between y'all and some barbecue. So thank y'all very much. If you want to go ahead and start pulling out your little blue tickets, we're going to do some raffles here. But first, I'm going to the little blue tickets I gave you. But first, I want to go through a couple of initiatives and things we're working on. We want to start off thanking all of our members. If you're not a member, we encourage you to stop by our desk out front at the front door. You can sign up there. It has been a great accomplishment this year. We are now at 16,000 plus members of the association here in North Carolina. And if you're not a member, we encourage you to stop by, learn some of the benefits, and see what we're doing. That has actually made us one of the oldest and largest National Guard associations in the United States. So we're very proud of that, and we want to make sure you're on our team as well. With that strength, we use it primarily to be your voice and your advocate out on state and national initiatives. We've had quite a success this year with a lot of the benefits that we have done. We'd like to recognize Colonel Jeff Copeland, who's our chair of our legislative committee this year. Very proud to say that we have received support for all three of the initiatives that we pushed out this year. If you get in the Tarheel Guardsmen, you'll see something. It just got mailed out. Most of you should be getting it this week. But you'll see we've been able to help lead the charge to get the pension raised. We've helped to support the tuition raise as well as getting a voting seat on the Military Affairs Commission. So that's one of the things we're looking at doing, is to go in and hear from you what we can do. So I'm sure Colonel Copeland, myself, any of the staff, you can share ideas of what you're thinking about that we could do on a state level next year or on a actual federal level as well, because we're planning to go in the spring to actually D.C. to go do some things as well. So we want to be your voice there. Some of the other benefits and things this year that we've been able to accomplish, if you've been by our office, if you haven't been by, we encourage you to come by. We've done some major renovations this year to our facilities. So we're looking to strengthen that. Some of the other things we've done is doubled our benefits. If you go in and participate in our discount programs, above and beyond kind of the military discounts that you're getting, we've got some brand new benefits. We've been more than able to double those as well this past year. If you're not receiving the briefs that we're now doing, we do a weekly newsletter. If you go to our website, ncnga.org, you can sign up. It's called the Weekly Guardsman. It's on the right-hand side bar there, and you can go get the latest and greatest of what we're working on and what the National Guard is doing here within the state and on a national level as well. And so we encourage you to do that. One of the things I want to put a calendar out there, date for you, April 29th and 30th is our convention this year. We're bringing it closer to home. We're going to bring it back in Greensboro at the Corey Center this year. So we encourage you to come on out. We have a great time. I think we've got General John Atkins. There he is there. He's been helping to lead us with our retiree hospitality rooms and things like that. And I think he's needing some new blood this year as well.
We have a group that has done this for the last 4, 5, 6 years for retired hospitality rooms. But our average age now is in the mid-70s. So we need a sustainment plan. But if we don't, we're going to give the money that we have available to the Educational Foundation. So please, if you're interested in doing that, and the funding, give them the money and some advice on it, see me before we leave today. If not, the Educational Foundation will appreciate that money.
They do a great job, and we encourage you to get involved with that as well. It's a great opportunity. A couple other things are, just to mention, we've got our staff, we've got our executive council, and we've got our committees that we have that serve us in different capacities. The only reason they exist is because of you and our current soldiers and airmen. That's the only reason we exist. And we're working on it 365 days a year, looking out for improving the quality of life for each one of you and our current soldiers and airmen. We encourage you, if you're not a member, please join. If you are a member and you know somebody that's not, please encourage them to get involved with us as well. One of the other big initiatives that I'll follow up, General Lusk was talking about, was the NC Connect bond. We're taking that up under our wing to help push and support as well. We had some ladies that just went in and passed you out some information there that we want you to go back and take back to your communities and help us push. If you need questions, if you've got questions or you need help with it, if you need PowerPoint, whatever you need, contact us with this and other initiatives that we're working on. We'll be more than willing to help support you in that capacity. All right, so let's get to some prizes here. First of all, USAA gave me their prize winner here. If they will go to the desk out here, I think it's right there near the Jeep. The winner of their prize is Ralph Poe. We have Ralph here. There he is. Woo! Must be present to win, right? All right. Let's see here. We want to thank, pull these out here. We'd like to thank retired Colonel Duncan Stevens. Where's Duncan at? There he is, right there. Want to thank him and Moore Buick GMC of Jacksonville. They help sponsor these raffle tickets. So give you a little boost right here before Christmas. So we can give them a round of applause for all their support. All right. Jeff, you want to pull the number for me? You pull it for me. How about that? All right. The first one is going to be for a $50 Longhorn Steakhouse, $50 gift card. And that is number, do the last four numbers, 3436. All right, all right. All right. We got it right up here. Jeff will give it to you. There it goes. We have got a $50 Outback Steakhouse gift card, and this number is going to be 3338. All right, very good. Let's do another Longhorn Steakhouse, 3282. All right, we got another Outback Steakhouse, $50. Did I just do this one? 3332? Did I do that? I didn't do that one. Oh, there you go. I must not have. There's a lot of 333. All right, and now this is a good one. This is a $100 Lowe's gift card. All right, and the winner is 3379. We got somebody? Oh, look at there. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. But want you, like I said, to kind of get it wrapped up here, I think I've covered all the ground I need to cover here. But basically, please help support us with this coming bond. I have had the privilege within working with the association. My goal is, and my council's goal is, for me to visit as many armories and units as I can. And usually every year I go visit between 40 and 50. I have personally seen the bumps and the bruises that we have out there. Our soldiers, our airmen, and our facilities have supported us for 379 years. We need to help support them, and we need your help to help us. Thank y'all very much. We appreciate all your support. Remember to join.
Since 2013, the Wakefield Senior Men's Association has coordinated and raised over $95,000 in support of the North Carolina National Guard families and programs. This year, we would like to share with all of you the presentation of donations. I would like to introduce the North Carolina National Guard's Deputy Director of Soldier and Airman Support Services, Lieutenant Colonel Maury Williams.
Ooh, good morning. Under the leadership of General Lusk, the North Carolina National Guard has been working very hard to establish lasting partnerships throughout the communities across North Carolina. One such group is here with us today. They have been outstanding in their support of the North Carolina National Guard for the last 3 years. I am honored today to introduce to you members of the Wakefield Senior Men's Golf Association. The Wakefield Plantation and the Wakefield Men's Senior Golf Association hold an annual tournament in October, the We Care Tournament, to raise funds for SAV, USO North Carolina, and a scholarship program within their association. Funds raised through this tournament not only help the families, but SAV as well, and other programs of the North Carolina National Guard. Operation Christmas Cheer and our Survivors program. The tournament is fascinating. I mean, we have about 75 North Carolina National Guardsmen out there playing golf, winning prizes. It's a great, great, great time. And we thoroughly enjoyed and appreciate the Wakefield Men's Association for putting this on. Mr. Mcconnell is the director of the Wakefield Plantation, and Mr. J. Eldenberg is the president of the Wakefield Senior Men's Golf Association. Please help me to extend a warm and a very appreciative welcome this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having us today, and just going to say a few words. The Wakefield Senior Men's Golf Association, part of our charter and bylaws actually states that we need to give back to the community. And we do that through three different things that we really support on an annual basis. We do some work with the Special Olympics. We go out and support their activities. We go monthly down to the Shepherd's Table Soup Kitchen in downtown Raleigh and work that once a month. And then we do the We Care Golf Tournament, which supports military charities. Our three charities that we support through our golf tournament are the SAAF, the USO at RDU Airport, and we started 2 years ago, and this will be our third, scholarships for children or military or spouses of military for college tuition and those types of things. We currently have 4 students that are enrolled in college that we're giving $10,000 to over 4 years, $2,500 a year, so that's something we've done within our that. In 3 years we've run the golf tournament. We've donated almost $200,000 to those 3 charities. This year we're going to be donating to those 3 charities as well. I do want to say a special thank you to somebody that we couldn't pull off our tournament without. It's part of the Guard. Sergeant First Class Samuel Leary. She's hiding. We couldn't do it without her. She is there for us throughout the year, helping us organize and do things. And I just want to say a special thank you from all of us to Sergeant Leary. Thank you, Sergeant First Class Leary. Before I make the presentation of the check, I do want to also add that in January, our group is going to put together some We Care packages, comfort packages, and send them over to a group that's deployed in Kuwait right now, the 30th Military Engagement Team, and send them over to Captain Sean Daly and that team so that they can have those, and we'll be doing that in January. So I'm sure they'll enjoy that. With that said, I'd like to have Colonel Benson come up. We'd like to do a little presentation, present a check for $25,000 to the SAAF. On behalf of all of us at Wakefield, we really do appreciate all the SAAF does for the National Guard. We appreciate all you do for us. Each and one of you, currently or in the past, thank you for all you do, and God bless America, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. I'm going to have Matt McConnell, who is from McConnell Golf, speak for a couple seconds.
Thank you, Jay. I just want to recognize the guys behind us. The We Care Golf outing has just gotten better and better each year, raising even more money, and they do a lot of great things as well, like volunteering at the soup kitchen, and it all started when they were sending care packages overseas. Like Jay said, they're going to continue doing that, and I'm honored to be a part of the group, this group behind me. They're a great group to look up to, and I can't ask for a better membership to have at Wakefield Plantation. But thank you all for having me, and God bless.
Well, good morning to everyone. For those that I don't know, my name is Sergeant Major Roach, retired, and I'm Director of the Soldiers and Airmen Fund for the North Carolina National Guard. I just want you to know that the Soldiers and Airmen Fund is working hard for our families. We've grown an awful lot the last 3 or 4 years, thanks to these folks back here and some others. We're trying to do more for our Guard families. It's a learning process. Nonprofit's a private organization, and they do things different, but we're doing our best to try to help everyone. So in conjunction with the Wakefield Plantation folks, our board of directors sat down and we decided that this $25,000 that we wanted to share with our partners in the National Guard. So I'd like to have Alice Dean, the Director of Operation Kids on Guard, General Outwater, the Director of the Friends of the Airmen and the Family Readiness Center, to come up, please. And there you are. Come up, sir. And Sergeant Major Swartz, I believe you'd like to come up in the J9 section, as you said. Members of the J9 section, if you're in here, please come up. Sir, would you join us up here? Thank you. Yeah, come right over here. Last year, we started a project called Operation Christmas Cheer. And what we did in conjunction with the Wakefield Association is we gave money to the Kids on Guard, Family Support, and the Friends of the Air Guard for Christmas. Well, this year we wanted to try to expand the program, so we've decided that we're going to give $10,000, and Sergeant Major Gaddis is going to help me, and Colonel Benson. We're going to give $10,000 to Operation Kids on Guard for Christmas Cheer, and the money left over to use for their kids programs next year for our deployed families. General Outwater, $10,000 to Friends of the Airmen and Readiness. Sir, that's for Operation Christmas Cheer, and also to use in your program to help support our Air Guardsmen in Charlotte. And Sergeant Major Swartz, we have a $5,000 donation that we're giving to for the Survivors Program to ensure next year, for 2016, you have enough money in your budget to have an excellent program for them. And I tell you, folks, these are good organizations that are working for you, and we appreciate them. We'll help them all we can. And with the help of these folks back there, we can make things better for our Guard families. So if you would, how about a big round of applause for everybody?
I want to thank the Wakefield Senior Men's Golf Association staff, and come on up here, Colonel Williams.
Okay, cool.
But I want to talk about the Survivor Program. Is we do not want to forget any of our fallen soldiers, whether they were killed in action, they died in AT or IDT status, or state active duty. And we have an annual Survivors Program that we bring these families in, and we do great things with them. And we want to continue to do this every year, and without the support of folks like behind us. And also, this check will go to the Military Lifestyle Charitable Foundation. And Mr. Richard Cantwell has been helping us out with that. But it's very important that we do not forget our fallen, and we could not do it without these individuals, and I want to thank them very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to go off script just a slight bit, and just out of curiosity, we've got a lot of old retirees here and some that are more mature than others. And we can all laugh because next year when we have this event, I will be joining you. So I did a little bit of a recon before I got up here, and I do know that there's at least someone that's over 80. So if the oldest, those of you that are over 80, raise your hand. I want to find the oldest. Oh boy, I should have gone 90. We'll just go ahead and jump to 90. No, we've got a 90? We got one. See, I made that quick, didn't I? And sir, what is your name? John Carpenter. All right. But it's great to have you here, sir. And you will become part of the program now. That's why I had to do that. One other thing real quick, I'd like to, Miss McConnell was kind of caught in traffic back here when I had announced her being here. Of course, she's the district representative from Congressman George Holding's office, and she's down here in front if you want to speak to her and afterwards out in the lobby. This year, once again, we've combined your homecoming with our annual celebration of the National Guard birthday, 379 years ago. The first muster on the village green at Salem, Massachusetts took place. While times and tools have changed, the mission of the Guard has not. Like our forefathers, Our job is to secure the homeland, protect our friends and family, and win the nation's wars. Like at no other time, our Guard is an operational force that is the most experienced, best equipped, and most highly motivated in its history. During this time of uncertainty and operational constraint, we rely on you to help tell the story of the Guard, of how we continue to deploy around the nation and around the world, and how we must preserve the gains in force structure, equipment, and experience we have made over the last 14 years of persistent conflict. At this time, I would like to ask Major General Lusk, Command Sergeant Major Smort, as well as Command Sergeant Major retired John Carpenter, our oldest Guardsman present, and Specialist Hunter, the youngest Guardsman, to come up on stage to cut the National Guard birthday cake in celebration of this special day.
Remember, you're not actually cutting it. You're just simulating. Okay. Hand it back to me and I'll clean it up.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal portion of the program. Thank you for joining us for today's celebration of the Guard's birthday and to celebrate your service to our state and our nation. We are very proud to have you here. Lunch will be served in the dining facility, which is on the first floor and to the right across the atrium. I would also encourage you to visit Sergeant Gary Spencer at our North Carolina National Guard history table. He will be available for any questions or donations of memorabilia for our new North Carolina National Guard Museum and Learning Center of Excellence. This facility will be the state's first National Guard-centric museum and will house artifacts and memorabilia from our various major subordinate commands across the state. Sergeant Spencer is also taking volunteers to participate in oral interviews that may be completed today or at another time more convenient for you. And so many of you have a lot of good oral history about your times in the Guard, and I encourage you to go see Sergeant Spencer and either take part today or schedule a time when you could come back and do that with him. There will also be a shuttle for your use if you would like to visit the museum from 12:30 to 1400. Once again, we strongly encourage all of you to visit all of our vendors and representatives for information and any new updates that will be a benefit to you for the service you all provided to our state and nation. Don't hesitate to walk around the building and visit with old friends in the various offices. Thank you all for honoring us with your presence today.